You get your honey bun? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Are you guys ready for some horror games? I hope you are. I am. I got 5 horror games lined up. I would have done more, but I wasn't sure how long these ones would take. Oh great, my house is rattling. What the fuck? That is a big fucking truck. Okay. We're starting off with a horror visual novel called Elsewhere High, Chapter 1. Are you ready for Meat Week tomorrow? Excuse? There's a Meat Week? What do you mean a Meat Week? What the fuck is this Meat Week and why wasn't I told about it? Holy shit, there's a Meat Week? Like, you're not pulling my leg, are you? Alright, let's see if this works. I had to do window capture, so tomorrow it starts. Oh my god. Gotta get myself ready for Meat Week, baby. Alright, did that work? Okay, it did. Cool. Sometimes window capture is a little bit fucked. Best enjoyed with headphones. Well, I'm way ahead of you. Oh, that's some squishy steps. Ooh, nice background though. Very. Oh, that's the pizza. That's the pizza. I know we just got started, but hold on. I'm back. Fallout's... Man, I thought you meant a real Meat Week. I thought there was gonna be like a parade and ribs. What the fuck? You fucking lied to me. Ooh, that piece is hot. It is real just in game. That's not real. That's not real. I can't eat the in-game ribs. Alright. It wasn't very unusual for Derek to be walking on the muddied shoulder of the barren country road. This is true. I could have barbecue. While he lived in a modestly sized city now, Derek grew up in a small town surrounded by roads just like this one. He would often walk them in the mornings to catch the bus to school. That seemed like ages ago, though. Now he resided in the city. Now that he resided in the city, he usually chose to walk to school, except, of course, for the days when the cold was overbearing or the heat too exhausting. Like right now. Actually, it's not bad today. But this last week, my God. And yet he felt no comfort in this aged familiarity. Where's the stop? He lifted his head. His neck was tense. He was told there would be a sign. A blue sign or something, right? His frame was not of much substance, but still his feet pressed against the softened ground and built mountains of displaced mud against the edges of his shoes. As he lifted them, the bulbous mounds would rise as if they wanted to follow him. The earth kept them close, though, these ripples of muck, and instead sent a forest of stringy soldiers to cling to the soles of his sneakers. There was a thick layer of them now. Maybe I missed it. He spoke aloud to himself. He did this often. He sheathed his uncertainty and kept forward. His body ached. Derek took a moment to check behind him. He was somewhat worried that the sound of the rain would drown out any cars. There hadn't been one yet, but he kept to the graveled edges anyways. There's no such thing as too careful. Guess I'll go a bit more. Ugh, this is bullshit. His statement was more of a meditative cry than a pitiful complaint. Pity was something that Derek didn't have for himself or his situation. Confusion, anger, frustration, even a pinch of denial, yes, but Derek did not feel sorry for himself. As he took a few more sunken steps, his mind was understandably drawn back to the conversation that had led him there. Oh my God, jump, what the fuck? I'm awake now, damn. It was somewhat ordinary for him to get a call to the principal's office. He remembered he was sitting in his grade 12 anthropology class, a class he had taken to gain a free credit from, but was rather surprised to find some sort of interest in, when the PA system came to life with a familiar, muffled alert. Yes? His teacher had cried out. She wasn't the type to become easily annoyed, but found herself derailed from her train of thought by the brass interruption. Can we see Derek Sommerfeld at the principal's office, please? The voice was hard to understand, but the teacher eyed him quickly. Yep, sure thing. She wasted no time, giving Derek a physical gesture of excuse and jumped immediately back into her lesson. Derek didn't remember being nervous. One of his friends had talked him into joining their small student council, and while it was infrequent, he would sometimes be called to the office to confirm various details of upcoming events. But this time there was a much more urgent topic of conversation. Jesus. As the umpteenth telephone pole disrobed itself from the darkness in front of Derek, he was quickly led away from his daydream. It was too far away to make out the details, but he knew that he was nearing the landmark. Just keep walking until you find a blue sign. He could see it in the distance, fastened rather high above the ground on a wooden pole. A blue sign. His pace didn't quicken. Okay. It's not terrible, but that is gonna throw me off every time. Whoosh! I know, right? Do you know why I've asked to see you today? His principal asked with a voice laden with distinct disappointment. The principal liked Derek. He had never been in trouble, and it was expected that students that were a part of the elected council were given somewhat special treatment. It was then that Derek remembered feeling the first tinge of nervousness. It was the sound of the principal's voice. With a weighted sigh, the principal opened an envelope on his desk and took out a handful of papers. On them were scribbled notes that Derek couldn't quite make out through the deep wrinkles and folds. Soon after being closed to gather himself, the principal's eyes made their way to Derek. They sat on him. He waited. Then a raised finger. He carried it limply and waved it around the notes. Do these, for any reason, look familiar to you? Derek shuffled in his seat. I can't read them. Derek remembered saying the words through a taut throat. Have a look. The principal opened his hand and lightly pushed the papers towards him. 1 second, I gotta close the door. Good luck, Derek. You got this, buddy. I believe in you. Alright, I'm back. Biggest disappointment in the world to find out Meat Week is only in-game. I want Meat Week to be real. With more than a little apprehension, Derek reached for them and began to read. I am so sorry, by the way, if I sneeze. My allergies have been a nightmare this last week. I am, like, always stuffed up. Little bitch. Skankiest girl at the school. Tell anyone I'll kill you. Mom's probably a whore. Your new name is Slut. That's your new name. He didn't read any one note from start to finish. They were vile in their language, threatening, brute. They made Derek sick to his stomach. He pushed the papers back towards the principal, and for the first time in years, he remembered feeling his eyes begin to well up. Derek stopped. Against the swarm of browns and grays, the deep blue that covered the sign reclaimed his attention. Just keep walking until you find a blue sign. Once you find it, wait. It will come soon enough. It could be worse. You could be stuffed up from shit I do on a daily basis. Customers buy too many diced onions and the boss never oversees it. Oh my god. Back when I worked in cake decorating, actually, I used to come home because we would use one of those airbrush guns to decorate cakes. And if you use enough of it, eventually, like, all of the color gets up in your nose. So then you go home and you blow your nose and it's just like a horrifying mismatch of color. It's terrible. Yeah, the rainbow snot. It's like somebody mixed up all of the watercolors, like, in a brush together and then stuffed it up your nose, and that's what's in there. It's just a hideous color. He stood beneath the sign, his hands gripping the straps of his backpack. It was all he carried. Sorry, Derek, I was getting myself a sip. I guess this is it. He sighed. Not only was it raining, but it was sticky and warm, and recalling the events that brought him there did little to calm his growing palpitations. His brows were drowned and heavy in gathered sweat. He didn't seem to mind. There was nothing left to do other than wait, so Derek leaned his body against the telephone pole and did just that. Whoosh! So much shit in food service really should require a mouth-nose covering. You're not wrong. I once inhaled dry ice by accident when we were unloading a cart. There was a bag, because they pack, you know, all the frozen bags and everything, they pack them with dry ice packets. And one of those suckers fucking ripped in transport, so when we pushed down, like, we pulled down the box, the whole thing came tumbling down. And it's just this fucking spray of dried ice. It didn't get in my eyes, thank God. But oh god, it hurt. Do you know what these are? Derek remained silent for a moment, took a deep breath, and then exhaled with purpose, as if he was about to reply. But he couldn't. Derek? The principal's voice remained assertive, but was softened by a hint of worry. Derek's body felt like stone. His mind was lifted elsewhere. He couldn't think or move. In this moment of confusion and discomfort, he felt as if he had surrendered his will. It was taken from him and handed over to someone else. His voice returned and broke. His head hung low. Yes. That was all he said, still standing against that rotted pole. He could not explain why he had said it. Yes? The principal waited for Derek to continue. He didn't. Derek, these notes were handed to me by a student named Priscilla Aberdeen. Do you know her? After taking a moment, Derek nodded. Yes, well, she handed me these notes in private, in secret after trying to find a way to let someone know. She was terrified, Derek, absolutely distraught. She was crying, sobbing, asking for help. He took a break to rein in his escalating voice, then continued. Do you know anything about these notes? Derek's body was not his own. He felt a force nod his head on his behalf. The principal gathered himself. Derek, what do you know about these notes? Something lifted his tongue. Something put breath in his lungs. Something formed the words. I wrote them. Did you, though? He could feel his shoulder pancaked between the weight of his body and the pull. It added to the ache. With a foggy mind and an anchored heart, Derek waited. His face contorted in an instinctual response to the memory. Priscilla. Her name popped from his mouth and crackled like hot grease. Priscilla. She was hardly even relevant to Derek throughout his high school life. He didn't dislike her, he just didn't know her. They had shared a class the year before when they were both juniors, but they sat on opposite sides of the room and had no friends in common. Their school was large enough for two students to never find themselves in the same place at the same time with the same people. She seemed like a nice girl, this Priscilla Aberdeen. Derek remembered hearing her laugh from time to time and thinking how wonderfully infectious it was. She was an otherwise quiet girl, so it was refreshing to hear such a genuine expression. She engaged in classroom discussion and was rather intelligent. Her marks were probably better than Derek's, although he didn't ever really push himself. There was certainly nothing wrong with her. And even if there was, Derek wouldn't have done something like that. Of course not. There were people who he disliked in his school. They were rude or disagreeable or just unlike Derek in too many ways. But he never mistreated them. He didn't want to spend that extra mental energy cooking up ways to hurt someone. It seemed superfluous. It was still a mystery even to himself then, why he had done this to Priscilla. Why have I done this to Priscilla? But when he did carve out enough courage to jump back into the cavern of his memory, he always re-emerged with nothing but a mind soaked in a solemn fog. Everything was hazy. Everything had been hazy. After his confession, he remembered nothing until the principal's door swung open and he heard footsteps behind him. How long had he been sitting there? A body sat down next to him. He barely raised his head, just dragged his eyes to the right to see who it was. Mom? It hovered somewhere between a question and a statement. She looked at him with something that Derek would have sworn was indifference, then surrendered her gaze to the principal. Derek assumed he began explaining the situation, but his senses shut down. His body was hardened by guilt and shame. Time passed haphazardly, a few minutes, an hour, who knew? It was only when his mother laid a limp hand onto his forearm that he tuned back in. While he was sure that the gesture was meant to be one of comfort, he felt nothing but stinging apathy. Her hand sat there, weightless, and from it flowed no measurable compassion. She held a pamphlet in her other hand. His principal spoke up with a low, heavy voice. I would recommend this as your next course of action. In terms of other options, there are few. You could, of course, try... What is it? The two adults almost jumped at the sound of Derek's voice. His mother had almost forgotten he was there. The principal spoke first. I'm sorry? That brochure, or whatever. What are you guys talking about? The principal let out a deep sigh. It's an alternative schooling option for students who have been what? The principal and his mother exchanged a worried, frustrated glance. This time his mother spoke first, but for some reason she whispered. Have you been listening? She had always feared being intrusive, even in situations like this, but now her sharp breath hit Derek's ear with shrill impatience. The principal fidgeted with his pen, then danced his gaze around both Derek and his mother. Derek, you have been expelled. His numbness somehow deepened into less of feeling, less of knowing, less of nothing. The silence hung like ornaments on the walls. Derek exhaled slowly. What I've given your mother is information on Elsewhere High. It's a new program, a new facility, a school for exceptional children, is its slogan. It's meant to accommodate families in situations like yours. They offer transportation, simple accommodations, classes that engage students in... His voice began to fade away. Derek knew what his mother had decided, even though she had yet to open the pamphlet, even though she had yet to speak. But, ooh, there's the bus, and gosh dang it, I need to blow my nose. Pick the worst game to start out with. Yeah, let me just get pizza, food that I need to eat, and let me also play a visual novel for the first game. I'm sure those two things won't interfere with each other at all. It nearly scared him half to death, you and me both, buddy. Perhaps he had fallen asleep. But somewhere, in the distraction of his mind, Derek hadn't seen or heard the bus approaching. It swung its doors open with a shrill creaking of metal. The motor rumbled conspicuously, as if puttering so loudly as to hurry him up. Get on! Derek looked to his left, back down the country road, back down the track of muddy footprints that he'd left, by now had turned into miniature pools. Fresh new raindrops hit their surface and sent hundreds of ripples hello phone to wave him goodbye. He didn't wave back. It was cold inside. Or perhaps it was a reasonable temperature and Derek's hot skin met the air with a chilling salute. Even though it was soaking and heavy, Derek decided to keep his sweater on. It was basically all he had. The driver sat behind a glass cage with all of its windows deeply tinted and completely impenetrable by sight. So was the entire bus, it seemed. Derek couldn't see outside as the road windows were also darkened by a deep tint. His spine rattled. He let out a small cough and shrugged his backpack off of his shoulders. His muscles were balled up and hard. Then Derek noticed that in the middle of the bus sat a girl. She was the only other passenger, and her body turned towards the window next to her. What is she looking at? It looked as if she was deep in thought. Derek's kindled curiosity was suffocated by, well, everything else. His anger, his confusion, his stubbornness. He sat in the front seat directly behind the shielded driver. With his backpack placed by his side, he leaned his head against the window and closed his eyes. He knew that he would not find sleep. Hey, Derek's heart leapt. He kept his eyes closed. Maybe she's not talking to me. Hey. This time it was more pointed. Derek rolled his body upwards and turned to her. Yeah? You just gonna sit by yourself? He still couldn't get a good look at her. All but her shoulder was blocked by the seat in front of her. Come on, grab a seat. With a touch of reluctance, Derek picked up his bag and walked towards her. On his way, the bus did its best to thwart his efforts, throwing him effortlessly from side to side, its metal body bouncing to the rhythm of the road. With a taut grip, Derek pulled himself into his seat, sitting upright and gentlemanly. Well, that was a struggle. She gave a light smile. Derek, finally able to, gave the girl a glance. She was gorgeous. Her frame was gracious and timid, but she carried it with a purposeful force. She was hunched, yet all of her limbs and muscles were firm and confident in their place. Her folded posture was not one of laziness, but one of intent. On her face was a set of green eyes that studied Derek hurriedly, but also offered a sense of genuine welcome. She had a rested stare that some might have mistook for emotionless. But that was not true, Derek guessed. She was just calm. You could have walked over at the next stoplight or something. Huh? I mean, so it wouldn't have been so rickety. Oh, no, it was fine. She leaned. God damn it, I'm gonna sneeze again! Shit! Fucking allergies!
Ugh. Kill me. Fucking end my misery.
Oh, she leaned farther back into the seat and placed her hands into her pockets. Well, good morning. Derek had almost forgotten. The thick darkness had nearly fooled him, but it was in fact morning. He let out a sigh. You too. His eyes wandered. I'm Sophie. Derek. Nice to meet you. Yeah. What was that for? What? That... She did her best to lower her voice and just chin out like Derek did. In any other circumstances, her imitation would have made Derek smile, but his face remained stoic. Just not in the best mood. She turned back into herself before offering a response. Yeah, I feel that. I was in a shitty mood when they picked me up, too. Probably still am. Place has turned me into a bitter old hag, I guess. You seem fine. Really? Most people take my resting bitch face as some kind of attitude. Derek shrugged. She did seem fine. They shared a few moments of silence, but perhaps experienced it in completely separate ways. Sophie sat relaxed, carrying something between confidence and indifference on her shoulders. Derek swam deep in his anxieties, half forgetting that he was sharing his space. The bus rumbled on, carrying them down a wholly unknown route. Each time the bus turned or stopped, Derek wondered where he was. He was headed west, but we've taken 2 right turns. Or 3? Damn it. Derek spoke, but with a tangible reservedness. Do you know how long it'll take? To get to school? A long time. Like what, an hour or 2? I'm not sure. You're not sure? Is this your first day too? Derek's voice was laced with annoyance. No. Then how do you not know? I just don't know, okay? It's far. Jeez, let it go. Derek wasn't used to being so abrasive. He didn't like the feeling. Okay, sorry, No, I get it. I'm sorry, I'm just antsy. Shouldn't that be my job? A different kind of antsy. I remember the feeling on my first day. Yeah? Was it shitty like this one? She almost laughed. I'm sure it was pretty similar. She pushed out a gale of breath through loose cheeks. They send you off quick, too? Derek shrugged. They gave me a few days to get ready. Huh, that's a luxury. I was gone the next day. Didn't have time to do anything. It's like a sick joke or something. Some guys back at the campus always say, there's no use moping. But I actually really like moping so they can shut the hell up. Derek wasn't sure how to respond. He let a timid laugh escape him. Yeah, I'm sure I'll do plenty of moping over the next little while. So, she righted herself with a touch of pep. What'd you bring? Huh? In your backpack, I mean. It's all soaked to shit now, but it's all you got. Oh, yeah, I was actually pretty worried. Derek unzipped his bag and reached inside. My laptop's in here. Your laptop? Her face was sick with worry. But look. He opened his bag to let her see. The laptop was wrapped in 2 plastic shopping bags. Forward thinker. Sophie rolled her eyes. Or you just wanted to get your 5 cents worth. There's 2 bags here. Oh, I'm sorry. Your dime's worth. You bonk the clown? You bonk me like the football? Oh, we have our first doot! Doot, everybody! Thank you for the doot, Redeem. Their voices were playful and high. Hey, people don't get rich by wasting money. Oh yeah? So your goal's to be all rich one day. Well, no, actually, I just mean, you know. He searched for words but retreated into a laugh instead. I actually have no idea where I was going with that. Sophie gave him a sarcastic smile. It is kind of bullshit, though. What? That they make you pay 5 cents for a bag. Like, come on. It's a war crime. They make you pay for bags? Where are we? Where are we? Clearly not America. Land of the brave, home of the free bags, you know? Then again, they use the term marks. Marks. England? Probably England. Somewhere in the Queen's Land. The home of tea, perhaps? I don't know. What other places use marks to, like, describe their grades? It's a war crime, really. So what else do you got in there? My laptop charger. You don't say. Derek shuffled through his bag some more. Another t-shirt so that this one doesn't get too disgusting. Socks, underwear, I hope. He looked up at her and scrunched his face in uncertainty. No. What? I packed them in my other bag. You packed a t-shirt and a backup, but no boxers. Well, people can see my t-shirt. Oh my god, that's disgusting. You know that it takes some time for your luggage to go through screening, right? I thought it was quick, like a couple of days or something. Yeah, that's what they say, but it never comes on time. Oh, great. Well, that's shitty. What does the screening do anyways? Sophie shrugged, unimpressed. Like they tell us. So we don't even know who's rummaging through our bags? Nope. Great. Yeah, welcome aboard. You'll run into stupid stuff like that all the time. Just absolutely no idea what's going on. Huh. His body contracted into a shiver. Man, is there any way they could turn the AC down? I find it nice. Yeah, you're not soaking wet. Take your sweater off then. So you can see through my shirt? No, so you can stop bitching about being cold. Ouch. He liked her crass attitude. There was something about it that excited Derek. He let the silence settle and then rolled his shoulder towards Sophie. So, what's with these windows? Good question. Sophie teetered somewhere between annoyed and empathetic each time she spoke. It confused Derek and caused him to tread rather lightly. Listen, she took a large breath. There's tons of stuff about this place that seems off. There's even more stuff that we just have to get used to. What I've learned from this place so far is that it's better to ask as little questions as possible. You can make friends and stuff, just don't be loud about anything. Keep your head down, stay out of trouble, and don't make a fuss about being kept in the dark. I mean, we kind of brought this on ourselves, I guess. Of course, I want to know why we can't look out these windows, but I don't get to know that. It's not for me to know. End of the line. Why did that not play? Hold on. End of the line off the bus. Hold on. Why did that not play? I have trigger fire up. It's above everything else. One second. Pat the Clown. No! Where's my Pat the Clown? Damn it. Do we have to go back to this? I guess we'll go back to the new screen. Hold on. Hold your horses, everybody. I thought it would be nice and we could have it all up on the big screen and stuff, but Trigger Fire's not working. Trigger Fire's being a little bitch. End of the line. Window capture, that's what I need. Alrighty. Need you to resize, please, and thank you, por favor. Alright, let me get that. So we had one Bonk the Clown. Rude. Yeah, there it is. What the hell did that not work? And then we had one End of the Line. Where is it? There it is.
End of the line.
Oh God. Alright, there we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why it didn't work. So I don't ask. Derek decided to say nothing in return. How are you feeling? Like shit. That's good. At least you can admit it to yourself. I tried to be all brave for the first bit, put on this face. No one bought it, especially me. It's good that you can be honest. She took a moment before continuing. You know, I'm on this bus, which means I messed up, but I'm not a bitch or anything. We can talk whenever you need. Yeah, for sure. Derek could start to smell his feet reek. Wiggling his toes in his drowned shoes, he pushed the conversation forward in an attempt to distract Sophie from the stench. Oh, that teenager stank. God. Disgusting. Back when your body refuses to, like, fucking figure itself out. So you stink. You just stink. That's just how it is sometimes. Who is texting me? Do you not know what day it is? It is time for the horror game marathon. So, this isn't your first day, then why are you on the bus? It's me, Austin!
Oh, son of a bitch!
Just to get out, we aren't allowed to leave campus, but we get bus privileges if they think we're showing good behavior. Sometimes I feel more claustrophobic on here than I do it elsewhere, but it's still a change of scenery, I guess. If I was going to guess why they have the windows tinted, it's because they don't want kids figuring out where they are. And then they can't, like, you know, escape. Derek's heart sank. He had yet to arrive at his new school, but he already felt undeniably restrained. Thinking about the harsh limitations made him feel queasy and irate. They have no right to, but Derek knew that his malicious thoughts were in vain. He had surrendered his control when he gave his confession, and this, he knew, was the outcome. What happens if we leave? Huh? What happens if we leave campus? Sophie's eyes twitched and then sank, looking deep into her thoughts. We don't know. But I don't really want to find out. Derek thought about challenging her, but stopped himself preemptively. It seemed best for him not to prod. Sunken and low, Sophie spoke away from Derek. Any more questions? How long have you been here? How often do you take the bus? How long have you been here? Elsewhere? Oh, it's only been a couple of months ago, at the beginning of the school year. I was one of the first, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks? She claimed a moment for her and her thoughts, then returned to the conversation bearing a small, solemn grin. Her eyes were elsewhere. I remember a lesson in grade 2 about time. Our teacher was trying to explain to us how people invented time, that it didn't really exist before we did. Obviously, we couldn't really get it, and maybe I never got it until I came here. But these last weeks have felt like, I don't know, 6 days? 6 years? What do you mean? She took another moment to properly sort through her thoughts. You know when a friend tells you a story about an amazing vacation they took? How they saw this unbelievable thing and they try and explain it to you, but it doesn't really translate, you know? You still can't really picture what they mean. Elsewhere is kind of like that. I could try and explain everything about it to you, but it wouldn't help. Besides, you're not that far away from experiencing it yourself. Sophie took a strand of hair between her fingers and ran it down the edge of her face. Then she righted her baseball cap. As it sat in her palm, she pushed it downward, situating the beak so that it almost covered her eyes. Well, Derek, I'm gonna get some sleep. Derek's eyebrows scrunched. Sleep? Is it really that far? No clue, but I'm exhausted. Oh, okay. He was tired too, but thinking about sleep made him feel lonely. He wasn't ready to give up the company, but he joined Sophie in her attempt to find rest. It came quickly. In it, he found just what he had expected. While the exact images in the dream escaped him, Derek felt a suffocating loneliness throughout it. Maybe there weren't any images at all. Maybe it was black. Maybe it was the raw feeling of nothingness. Maybe Derek's mind was so heavy it felt like an anvil to his body. His neck ached under its weight. The nerves in his shoulders splintered, fracturing away from themselves to find help. It's so heavy. It's so lonely. And then... fucking hit a tree, I guess. Derek's body lifted from the seat from the strength of the impact. Holy shit! He gripped the seat in front of him and his eyes flew around the bus with a loud sense of urgency. What the hell was that? The pothole. She seemed annoyed, not frazzled. Her calm response did something to de-escalate Derek. It also made him feel irritated. What? It means we're close. Ooh, Deus Ex pothole, perhaps? Smoking Chekhov's gun? Chekhov's gun pothole? Possible important detail? I don't know. Holy shit, I almost had a heart attack. Sorry, I should have warned you. Her suaveness suddenly slid from a magnetic force to a biting annoyance. Yeah, no shit. Alright, dude, calm down. It's a bump, you're fine. Derek wiped his mouth from the back of his sleeve. He was hot with anger. It took him some time to calm his breath, and by then the bus had slowed to a stop. Derek closed his eyes and checked his tone before he spoke. Does that mean we're here? He said it much more calmly than he imagined. Yep, this is us. Only one stop on the Elsewhere High bus. As Sophie seemed collected and familiar, Derek scrambled for courage. He grabbed his backpack, stood from his seat, and walked towards the front of the bus. As he passed the driver's chambers, he tried one last time to peer into the tinted glass. Who took me here? But of course, he could see nothing. The doors in front of him stood open. He could see puddled water on the ground. Still raining. At least something felt familiar. Take your time. Derek hadn't noticed her behind him. He couldn't tell how much sarcasm was laced in her gesture. Afraid and unsure, Derek stepped down the stairs and onto the damp asphalt of Elsewhere High. this is pretty background art. I wonder who they got to do it. This is it. Yeah, this is Elsewhere. If you want, I'll give you a minute to... Hey, Soph. He infiltrated the conversation with a distinct punch of pep. His voice was vibrant and fun, and he was undeniably handsome. Man. Derek was confident in his own looks, but he knew that his face was still young. But this guy, he looked distinguished. With his chiseled face and smart outfit, Derek couldn't help but blush with jealousy. I know what you are. Welcome back. How was the ride? With an inconspicuous flick of his fingers, he dusted the ashes from the tip of the cigarette he held. Hey, Vincent. It was fine. Great. And the new guy? Sophie gave a weak gesture towards Derek, and Vincent stuck his hand out to him. Hey, man. Derek took it. Hey, what's up? Nothing much. So, what did they call you, man? Oh, sorry, I'm Derek. Well, nice to meet ya. I'm Vincent. Welcome aboard. Thanks. He wasn't even sure why, but Derek couldn't find his confidence. A little shy? Vincent pulled himself towards Derek and draped his arm around his neck. You won't be for long, trust me. Only way to not go crazy here is to make some friends fast. Derek wasn't sure what to say. Don't take it personally. Vince, he's probably just trying not to vomit from your disgusting breath. Vincent unlatched himself from Derek and raised his hand that held a cigarette. See this? This is my last cigarette ever. Yeah? So last week's last cigarette ever was just practice? Exactly. I had to know what it's gonna feel like. Had to do a trial run. Uh-huh. Well, we'll see how long it takes for you to switch to pot or something. No way, this is for real. Besides, that stuff makes me antsy. Sophie stood a bit farther away from the two guys, and Vincent beckoned her closer. Anyways, how was the ride, man? Oh, it was, good. We slept up for a lot of it. Oh, you guys sat together, did ya? So you two already know each other? Well, not... I want to know everything. What did you tell her? I hate feeling behind. Oh, God. My name is Derek, and we hate paying for shopping bags? Vincent erupted with laughter. What? So you burned through all that quality topics, I see. Well, geez, man, sorry about that. I mean, I know Soph can be cold, but I didn't think she'd stoop to talking about shopping bags. Sophie rolled her eye and then gave a reluctant smile. Yeah, and Vincent here is totally known for his riveting conversations. Yeah, for some odd reason, I'm hearing sarcasm here. He turned towards Derek. Derek, what do you want to do? Huh? We've probably got a few minutes before class starts. I don't know, we can do something? Talk about something real? Soph can come too, I guess. He winked at her. Thanks, asshole. Derek looked around. Across the street from the school was an empty lot made of gravel. The school bus sat idle on the far side, but apart from that, there was nothing. Next to the school was some kind of business, and Derek could see a solid gray building in the distance. What's Kills? Kills. Kills! I wonder what they do there. Ah, Kills. He's a student here. Runs something like a store in there. I mean, your options are pretty limited, but he gets an A for effort. Wait, what do you mean? It's just shit that he finds. It's an abandoned store that when he got here, apparently, so he made that stupid sign and somehow convinced everyone that it would be a good idea. It's nothing to write home about. Hey, there's hidden treasures in Kills. Don't listen to Sophie, she's a downer. Derek smiled with interest. Why? What did you find in there? Sophie chortled. Well, like I said, it's hidden treasures. which is his way of saying he found absolutely nothing of remote value in there. Wow, Sophie, you really need to work on your listening skills. I wouldn't have said hidden treasure if I had already found the treasure. He laughed and ran his hand over his pulled back hair and threw his cigarette to the ground, snuffing it out with the back of his boot. Last one, I swear. Well, good luck with that. I'm gonna try and get to class early today. You can come if you want, Derek. Ooh, our choices. Well, we'll catch up with Sophie. I'm gonna wait for a bit. Yeah, no worries. See you in class? For sure. She turned and walked away from the boys. Vincent waited a moment and then spoke. Oh man, isn't she something? Huh? Oh, come on, you can't tell me you don't think Sophie's a bombshell. Huh. Oh, well, yeah, she is pretty. Vincent widened his eyes. What? Oh my god, I can't understand guys like you. She's 100% a 10, and you're over here like, oh yeah, she's pretty. Screw off with that. She's unbelievable. Derek laughed. Alright. Are you gay? You're not gay, are you? What? Do you like dick? That's how I ask all of my friends about their persuasion. Do you like dick? Do you like dick? What? No. Okay. Then how are you not on board with this? Sophie's great. She's hot, yeah. I just don't know her that well. Jesus, calm down. Vincent paused to straighten the collar of his shirt and then spoke softly. Yeah, whatever. Sometimes I get carried away. The pep in his voice returned. But it's not just about that. I have feelings for her. We'd be perfect together. You like her? What? Yeah, of course. Does she know? Sorry, I just keep forgetting you're new. Yeah, Sophie knows. Should have guessed you wouldn't be quiet about it. Derek gave Vincent a sly smirk. Exactly. I tell her every chance I get. And she's not biting. I don't know. Sophie's a closed book. I don't know how buddy-buddy you guys got on the bus, but you could probably tell she doesn't wear her heart on her sleeve. It's like buried in her pocket or something. Or in her chest? I was trying to stay in the context of the metaphor, thank you very much. Anyways, I have no idea how she feels. She hangs out with me, not that there's much choice there, but she seems to enjoy our time together. Neither that or she's really good at hiding her distaste for people. Distaste? It means, like, I know what it means. Just never really heard it used before. I say if you're gonna speak a language, speak it well. Words can be beautiful if you use them right. Huh, never would have pegged you as the type. Vincent gestured with his shoulder towards the school, his eyes in yearning. Look at her. Derek turned around and followed Vincent's stare. At the front of the school sat Sophie, her hands folded, propping her head up. She was calm and alone. Vincent shook his head. Man, is she beautiful. Let's head in. Vincent led Derek towards the school. As they walked, the now common nervousness crept its way back into Derek's mind. His eyes searched for an escape but found none. Instead, Derek's scrutiny of the schoolyard and its sterile surroundings found its way to the gravel yard across the road. It was gray and desolate and offered no respite for Derek or his restless thoughts. While he had hoped that the emptiness would help to offer a sort of calming in his mind, Derek could see no exit from this loud excitement. He was worried and alone. Even though a body walked next to him, it was unfamiliar and new. He was welcoming, this Vincent, and at least somewhat amicable, but Derek ached for the comfort of something recognizable, something warm. The building towered beside them. Derek felt as if it was watching them. You are not welcome here. Hey! Judging by Sophie's reaction, Derek wasn't sure who had been pulled from a deeper trance. She looked up to Vincent with a cold stare. Yes? You ready to head in? It's about time. I got an achievement that said I chose between Sophie and Vincent. I wonder if that's gonna mean anything. Holy shit, huh? Don't let anyone tell you guys I have a bad sense of time. Literally, no one has ever said that. Right, so in the future, don't let anyone tell you that. Oh my god. Stoffers. The handy fast meal. Stouffer's hamburger helper. Sophie stood up. She didn't stretch, but seemed to find comfort in her posture immediately. You ready, Derek? Yeah, time to meet the teach. Ready? He pushed the question out nervously. Sorry, there's nothing to be ready for. Excuse me. I just mean I didn't want to rush you. Oh, yeah, I'm good. Let's go. He sounded much less confident than he'd hoped to. Sophie turned and led them towards the door. She leaned her body against it and pushed her way into the school. With a quick nod of her head, she gestured the boys into the building. After you guys. Such a gentleman. Thanks, Soph. With her hands in her pockets, Sophie let the door slide shut and followed Derek into the halls of Elsewhere High. What is this little gear down here? Excuse me, what are you? Ooh, okay. Save, save, save. Load, load, load. Hide message. Skip. Return to screen. There was less than Derek had expected. He wasn't quite sure of what, however. Sorry, getting another sip. Less light. The colors of the room were notably muted, and it took Derek's eyes a moment to balance themselves. Less people. Empty chairs dotted the room, almost teasing those who were there. These many people didn't screw up like you. The atmosphere of the room was alien to Derek, like so much else. He felt as if he was becoming used to the feeling discomforted. It wasn't that he felt frightened or unsafe, but the classroom gave him a peculiar sensation that he couldn't quite define. Grab a seat, man. Anywhere? Yep, there's no seating plan or whatever. Oh. Another unfamiliar feeling of needless disorganization. Derek sat down next to Vincent. Sophie followed and sat on the other side of Derek. Don't worry, we got you. She stiffened her lips into something of a smile, and Vincent reached over to Derek between their desks and tapped his arm. That's Teach up there. An older woman, middle-aged perhaps, sat at the front of the desk reading a book. A pen sat nimbly in her hand, her grip loose and unsure. While her stare was resolute and focused, there was a welcoming air about her that calmed Derek. Looks can be deceiving. You don't have to worry about her. She's great. She can be mean, but just don't be an asshole and you'll never see that side of her. Fair enough. Sophie seemed to be rather alert. It was as if she was studying the room and those in it quite closely. Nobody has a bag. Like a backpack or a notebook or anything. They're kept in the classroom. Oh. Sophie's eyes never met Derek's when they spoke. He turned to Vincent to see him sitting limply in his chair. You alright? Vincent moaned. Yeah, just tired. Man, this is taking forever. We just got here. It's all relative, brother. There's nothing Vincent hates more than class. Students filed in slowly. Soon one of them sat in front of Derek. His frame was tiny and his movements meek. Sophie grinned and leaned towards him and used her slender finger to stab the back of his shoulder. Hey, Toby. He turned towards her. Oh, hey, Sophie. He spoke kindly, but sounded slightly confused. Slightly confused? So did I. I had like a question mark on the end of that sentence. Sophie gestured towards Derek. This is Derek, the new guy Teach was telling us about. Toby's eyebrows rose slightly and he gave a timid smile. Oh, hi. I'm Toby. Nice to meet you. Thanks. Toby turned back to face the front of the classroom as Sophie leaned towards Derek and whispered, "He's kinda shy." Newness never really sat well with Derek. He couldn't honestly say that he was overly welcoming of change. This newness was no different, but the accompanying feeling of burning apprehension and unease were heightened. This newness was a punishment, not a necessity. He brought this scraping fear on himself. The walls seemed to close in on him, and there was no room to breathe. And this is Ash. Huh? Derek looked towards Sophie and saw that she was gesturing towards a girl sitting next to her. Derek had to crane his neck to see her. Hey, so you're Derek. Yeah. Hey. Cool. Well, welcome. Derek nodded to her but did not reply. She seemed distant. All right. The teacher stood from her desk upright and gave a subtle scratch to her scalp, finding her thoughts. Most of us seem to be here today. Has anyone seen Killian by chance? There was silence. Right. She sounded unimpressed, but not at all surprised. Matthias is, unfortunately, still feeling ill, so he won't be joining us today. She made some notes on a scrap of paper on her desk. But other than that, I think we can get started. As I'm sure some of you have noticed, we have a new student joining us today. I'd give a small introduction, but I wouldn't want to steal that opportunity from you. So why don't you come up to the front, Derek? His eyes darted this way and that, and his heart surged with a swollen tempo. Yes, come on up here, please. She gave him no room for choice, but spoke gregariously. It certainly wasn't her that terrified Derek, but the situation. Okay. He rose from his desk and carried himself to the front of the class. He felt like a placemat for the other students' stare. The teacher made space for him, moving to the side of the classroom and leaning against the wall. She waited patiently. Well, I could start. My name is Miss DuPont. I am for now the only teacher here at Elsewhere High, and I have been here since it opened 2 months ago. I come from Oregon. My favorite dessert is vanilla flan, and I have a large interest in Korean cinema. Really? It opened 2 months ago? Well, okay, that makes sense, I guess. I was thinking something was up with the math, but now that I think about it, Sophie said it had been like 6 weeks, and that would roughly be about 2 months, so, okay. I just thought it was a little weird there. She smiled at Derek and nodded her head in encouragement. Something like that. Derek's hands found comfort in his pockets. Okay, my name is Derek. I just got here today. A low chuckle revved from the class, and it did well to settle him. I'm from Iowa. Oh, we are in the States. Okay. So it's nice to see some other Asians for once. The class laughed again, and Vincent perked right up. I got your back, brother. Miss DuPont rolled her eye and grinned in what might have been reluctant disapproval. Where are they going in Iowa that's charging for plastic bags? Iowa, are you okay? I don't really like dessert. Ice cream is pretty good, I guess. And I've never seen a Korean movie. Although he gave a large shrug to mark the end of his introduction, Derek did feel a small seed of confidence. At least I made them laugh. Oh, what grade were you studying? 12th. Very good. Thank you, Derek. Do you have any questions for us? Are all of us seniors? Does anyone want to answer this question for Derek? Toby, how about you give it a try? You can have a seat, Derek. As he tried not to rush back, Derek could see Toby shifting awkwardly in his seat. Derek is wondering if everyone here came from the 12th grade. How would you answer that? No, we didn't. Thank you, Toby. In the future, I would like to see some more elaboration, but thank you for answering Derek's question. Not all of you came from your senior year, no. Some of you are younger than others, but we, and by we I mean the founders of this institute and myself, tried to install a very inclusive and accessible classroom setting. We focus on a multi-approach teaching style. All of you are the teachers as much as myself. Seeing you and others invited to the front of the class to answer a question or form an opinion will be extremely common. Of course, I am the teacher and therefore the overseer and organizer, but that by no means defines my knowledge as greater or better than yours. We have something to learn from each other. I know this might sound odd to you, but I think most of your peers here today will agree that it takes a little time to get used to and creates a much more open environment. There is a zero tolerance policy for any type of bullying or discrimination. I hope that above all else is clear. She made her way back to the front of the desk and sat her body onto it. Her posture was casual, her knees bent, her arms crossed. For some reason, it excited Derek. Maybe this will be all right. Mrs. DuPont took a contemplative moment. Okay. Oh, wait, is it Mrs. DuPont or Miss DuPont? I'm gonna go with Miss. Who would like to explain to Derek how we tend to start each day? Sophie adjusted her baseball cap. Was that a raised hand, Sophie? Just fixing my hat, but I'll go for it. Sophie turned to face Derek rather than offering her response to the teacher. We usually start every day with a critical thinking discussion. That's right. I appreciate it, Sophie. Thank you. Derek, each day we engage in a discussion topic. It's an open conversation. Raising your hand can be used as a form of organization, but generally we speak when we feel the need to add to the discussion. There is no goal to these discussions, or rather, there is no end goal. What we are attempting to do is to think critically about a subject or topic we might often give no thought to at all. It fascinates me, as I believe it does some of you as well, because often we see some of us leave the conversations with a completely new perspective on things. Stealing music. The class let out a low chuckle, as did Mrs. DuPont. Exactly. What a great discussion that was. There was a sense of tentative, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Camaraderie in the room, as if the gel that had held everyone together and close could soften at any moment. Today's topic. She turned around and picked up a piece of chalk from the small shelf and began to write, speaking the words as she penned them. Is it immoral to lie? Placing the chalk back, she once again faced the class and leaned on her desk. Is it immoral to lie? She let the question sit. Well, is it immoral to lie? What do we think? The silence in the class didn't spawn from apathy, but rather contemplation. All right, new guy. What do we think? Is it immoral to lie? I would say no, given the circumstances. No? And why? Her voice held no judgment towards his rather brash response. This is a safe space, Derek. Don't let preconceptions filter your thoughts. Think for yourself and then answer for yourself. Okay? He claimed a moment to gather himself. I don't know if I believe that anything is immoral. Well, hold on. I didn't say that. Derek, buddy. Or if it is, then who gets to say it is? Maybe lying to hurt someone is bad, but that's not the only reason people lie. Okay, there we go. It's probably not even the most common reason people lie. I don't know how to explain it. I guess I just mean that no one really ever gets to say that something is wrong. So I'm not going to be the one to do it. She raised her eyes a bit and frowned an impressed frown. Thank you for your answer, Derek. I appreciate your elaboration. I'm interested in your stance, that perhaps my question was flawed, that we are in no place to be moral detectives and judges towards each other. Very interesting indeed. Thank you, Derek. She took a pause. What about you, Ash? Is lying immoral? Oh no. Ash, what have we said about these one-word questions? One-word answers. Yes and no are powerful words, but they are commanders in the need of armies. Back it up, girl. Okay, let's say this. You're at home and you're a parent and your kid's at home too and they're sleeping or whatever. And some guy knocks on your door and says, "Is your kid home? I want to kill it." And he's holding a knife and he looks all crazy and shit. And he says again, "Is your kid home? I'm gonna slit its throat." Obviously you're gonna say no. Unless you really hate your kid or something. Hello? Hey! Adroit, pull over. Thank you very much for the follow, hon. I definitely fucked up your name, but thank you so much for the follow. But most people would say no, and you'd lie to him. But that doesn't make you bad. That you lied to this guy so he didn't kill your kid? So you're approaching the question with moral relativity in mind. Can anyone here define moral relativity for us? There was silence. Vincent? Moral relativity implies that certain actions are immoral when carried out by some, but not by others. Thank you for that third slice of pizza. I will definitely get to it at some point. Derek eyed Sophie, who was already looking at him with anticipation of his impressed... Oh, blah, 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 blah. I can't talk. Derek eyed Sophie, who was already looking at him in anticipation of his impressed glance. She just gave him a mixture of a nod and a shrug. Or maybe in Ash's situation, perhaps she meant that certain things are immoral in certain situations, but not in others, when carried out by the same person. Yeah, I would say it's all relative. Like, it's a case-by-case basis. Very good, Vincent. A fine explanation. Does everyone understand what we're speaking of here? Murmurs rose. Let's picture someone living in extreme poverty. They were born into poverty and know nothing other than poverty. Soon they slip into complete homelessness and their situation worsens by the day. They realize that in order to properly feed themselves, they'll need to steal, so each morning they do so. They go to the local bakery, let's say, and they steal enough food to keep them alive. Now, take this same situation and apply it to a wealthy person. This person has no worries in regards to finances. They never have to wonder where their next meal will come from. But they too have taken up the habit of stealing. They steal food and electronics and so on. Is it possible, or rather, could it be reasonable to suggest that perhaps stealing in one of those cases is immoral while the other is not? Or is there a universal rule? Is something that is bad for one bad for all? No. His voice was so soft that Miss Dupont's gaze fell on him with a measurable level of uncertainty. Toby? It's not. Miss Dupont smiles. Derek could tell that Toby rarely participated in these conversations, and so the teacher was glad he said anything at all, even if it was muted and vague. What is not? His breath stuttered under his anxiousness. There's a story in the Bible I read once. I think it's in the book of Exodus, but I'm not sure. And there was a king who was afraid that his slaves might become strong enough to overthrow him and his empire. And so he told the women working for him, the midwives, I guess, to go out and kill the male babies that were being born to the slaves. Oh, Moses, I think. This is the story of Moses. If all the boys were killed, the population would be weak. And so the midwives, they didn't want to do it, obviously. And when they went back to the king or the pharaoh, he asked them how it was going. And the midwife lied to him and said that the slave mothers gave birth really fast, so that they were so fast that the babies were hidden before they could get there and kill them. She lied to her king, and in the story it says that God looked upon her with favor. So if you think about that, faith, or any faith really, lying is considered bad. But even though it's considered bad, there were still situations where it was seen as good. He thought about something for a moment. Well, maybe not good, but better than killing babies. Vincent began to laugh obnoxiously. Oh man. Vincent? I don't even know. I thought it was funny. Vincent, what Toby offered was an insightful look into his personal thoughts on the subject at hand. What you're offering is abrasive and rude. Please stop. Yeah, well, I expect nothing like that again in the future. She softened her face and turned her attention towards Toby. Thank you for your thoughts, Toby. Personally, I found that story fascinating. While I admit my specific knowledge of the Christian faith is quite limited, I'm very glad that we have such a diverse background to hear from. Thank you very much. Derek looked to Vincent, whose body was stretched out down his chair. His head reclined against the wood back. His hands were woven together in his lap, and he looked altogether disinterested. While the conversation was involving and new, Derek soon found his attention wavering. He could no longer focus on the debate. It seemed wholly trivial to him. Is lying immoral? Why are we talking about this? This place. Everything seems gray. The class seemed to pass by without force. He sat with no effort and let his muscles fall as they would, sinking into the chair. At one point, everyone rose, went to the front of the class, and gathered their notebooks. Miss DuPont made her way to Derek's desk and handed him his personally. She may have given him some loose instruction, but it was lost on Derek. A formal lesson began, but what it was forgotten about. Derek held his pencil, also given to him by the teacher, with a limp grip. He wrote nothing. And I think that just about does it. We've covered today's materials. I'll also remind you of the upcoming deadlines. You should all know what they are. Please have your work in on time. Derek rose slightly from his tight hunch. He looked to his right and his left and then checked the clock. Class is over? Miss DuPont drew a heavy breath. I think this is all. Oh, before we go, Derek, please stay behind today. We'll have a little chat, please. Everyone else, you're free to go. The students stood from their seats and righted themselves. Sophie patted Derek on his shoulder. I'll see you back at the dorms, maybe. Just let me know if you want to hang out or anything. I'm room 307. You give Derek information that took me weeks to recon to get? Vincent, being a little creep, aren't you? Derek doesn't tell me I have nice elbows. Ooh, my God, all right. That was once. To be fair, your elbows are pretty nice. Oh, dear God. I'm joking. Thanks. I'll probably see you later. Sweet. Later. She picked up her notebook and pencil and walked to the front of the room and deposited it to Miss DuPont's desk. Toby and Ash followed closely behind her, and they left the room as a silent group. Derek looked to him. That's Toby something else, huh? What do you mean? What, you don't think he's weird? I don't know him. You know him enough to form an opinion on him. If I knew him enough to form an opinion on him, I would have answered your question in the first place. Vincent paused. Well, he is... What? Weird. The dude's weird. Jesus, man. Nod and smile? Well, I don't think he's weird, so I'm not gonna nod and smile. Vincent ruffled his eyebrows and looked sharply at Derek. So what, you want to be all buddy-buddy with him? I don't know. Vincent and I barely met him. You want to be besties with Toby? Vincent turned from Derek and picked up his notebook, shoving it under his armpit. What? Want to hang out with him and listen to that pussy voice he has? Oh, hi, Sophie. Makes him sound like a pansy, man. Yo, maybe you should get off of him. Get off of him? He's not even here, bro. I'm not on him. Whatever. It doesn't matter if he's here. You're being a douchebag. So now you're backing him up. What the fuck? I just got here. Derek, how did you get pulled into this? Vincent, I think you have some, internal issues you need to work through. I'm just saying, maybe you should shut the hell up. Derek spit his last words out like venom. He let his crescendo drop into silence. At the front of the room stood a worried Miss DuPont, who was clearly distracted while helping another student. She had been keeping a close eye on their altercation, it seemed. Vincent snatched his pencil off the desk and stormed to the front of the room. His heavy boots clomped against the tiles conspicuously. With a flick of his body, he dumped his schoolwork in front of Miss DuPont's desk. Once he left, Derek turned towards the front and approached her timidly. Everyone had now left but the two of them. No need to look so nervous. Vincent's got a head that's as hot as it is smart. He has a temper, and he certainly forms his opinions on things quickly. Too quickly, if you were to ask me. I appreciate some of the things you said. Derek shrugged. Didn't make sense. Miss DuPont sighed and let her eyes drop downwards. Yes, well, carrying on. I just wanted to get you situated, take you to your room, answer any questions you may have. So if you'll follow me, we can get started. I'm gonna crack open a cold one. You ready for this, chat? Chat, are you ready? He led Derek out of the room and through the winding corridors. That Coke was not nearly as cold as I thought it was. Oh well. The school was large, needlessly large. I thought there was only one class. Derek followed her in silence, and she eventually led him out the back door of the school. Excuse me. Here we are. It might take you some time to navigate the campus, but this here is the rear entrance. It's the closest entrance to your dormitory. She pointed towards the gray building in the distance. Ah, that's what it was. Shall we? There was a low silence. So, how was it? Your first day of class. I hope I didn't disappoint. Oh no, it was good. Miss DuPont let out a soft chuckle. Well, I'm glad. Her voice hardened. I'm sure everything must be so uncertain. There must be so many questions that you would like to be answered. From my experience with students here so far, it often takes some time for those questions to bubble up. But I make sure to tell each and every one of my students that if they ever have questions, I'm here to answer them to the best of my ability. So of course, you'll always have the same opportunity. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to ask now? Well, we've already been told about our stuff. Why is the school so big? Miss DuPont smiled at his observation. This school was shut down rather recently. It was fed by a network of neighboring small towns. A proposal was given to renovate the existing school, but instead of an entirely new school... A proposal was given to renovate this existing school, but instead an entirely new school was built somewhere in the township. It seems like the building was to be knocked down, that is, until this idea came to be. Huh. What is it? He didn't respond. Miss DuPont was approachable. He felt a genuine comfort when he spoke to her. And yet he wondered if this comfort ran no deeper than her smooth, amiable voice. Perhaps he found no comfort in her disposition at all. They offered some time away to silence. I feel full here. Derek continued with his head down, his hands in his pockets. Of course, I always felt a sense of fulfillment from teaching, but it's amplified here. I care more about this group of students than any other before it. I'm sure many teachers would think this opportunity is a nightmare. On paper, you guys are a hard sell. She tried to laugh away her jab, but it hit Derek the wrong way. But I've never had the pleasure of teaching such a vibrant group. I look forward to your observations and energy every day. I know that we don't know each other yet, but thank you for your input in yourself. I hope that what I'm doing here is at least empowering you all. So thank you, Derek. You are noticed and you are of worth. He wasn't sure how to respond, and so he didn't. Through the thick curtain of constant unease, Derek at least felt safe in saying nothing. They had arrived at the entrance of the dorms, and Miss DuPont began shuffling through the pouch that she carried, quickly producing a plastic card from it. She handed it to Derek. An extra layer of security. There's no one on campus outside of those in your class and myself. The founders will show up infrequently. In any case, this is a key card for the dorm rooms. It is programmed to open the front door as well as your room. Quite fascinating, isn't it? Yeah. She laughed. Oh, I'm sure something like this is nothing to a young guy like you. It is quite incredible, though. She scanned the card and held the door for him. So yes, please do not misplace this card or swap cards with the other students. It is for your room alone. Thanks. Miss DuPont led him to the second floor. Well, this is it. I know it doesn't seem like much, but please make the best of it. It might be difficult to see right now, but this is such a great opportunity for you guys. Anyways, I'll let you get settled. This is your room here. She motioned to the door on the left and gave him a small smile. Is there anything else you need? I think I'm okay. Right, well, the rest of the day is yours, Derek. It was a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you. Thanks. She righted herself and made her exit. Derek looked around the hallway and sighed. It was sad and gray. Everything is gray. There was a surging wave of melancholy that pulsed through the dorm like a gas. It gripped Derek's throat and tightened it. I've got you now. Shaking his head roughly, Derek inserted the key card into the door and pushed it open. Okay. I guess this will have to do. He wasn't sure why he had expected to find solace in the room. There was none, although the tangible sadness he felt in the hallway had dissipated. In this room, lonely was okay. Solitude was the point. He flung his backpack onto the bed and peeled his damp sweater from his body. Looking down, he could see his white shirt clinging to him like cellophane. It turned a pinky yellow in places where his body jutted out and touched it. He crossed his arms at his waist and grabbed the shirt at the bottom of the seams and rolled it up his body, jostling his head through the fabric. It hit the floor with a heavy splat. He picked it up and draped it across the back of a wooden chair. Moving towards his bed, Derek pressed his hand against one side of his chest. His pores were sharp and raised for the cold air beating against it. He pressed his hand against his skin and ran it along, flattening the rows of goosebumps as he went. They rebelled, reforming as quickly as they were suppressed. Don't tell us what to do. In his backpack, he pulled out his second shirt. He nearly smiled at how similar it was to the first one he wore. Derek never paid close attention to how he dressed. White t-shirts were acceptable. They were safe. He placed the fabric on his bed next to his bag and wrapped himself in his arms. This is me. I'm here. His fingers dipped loosely beneath his pants and he ran them up the creases of his abdomen. I can't read. Letting out a considerable sigh, Derek picked up the new shirt and slid it over himself. His forearms prickled against the cold air. He grabbed his sweater and felt the inside of it to find it was rather dry. It was just the outside that remained damp. He put it on. Derek jumped. He was already clothed, but he felt naked. Pretty good knocking. Come on, man, open up. Who is it? Ha ha, very funny. What? He opened the door to see Vincent standing lazily. Oh, sorry, I get it, we're all excited to consummate our rooms. What? But there's a better and probably much bigger thing to be addressed. Ha! My God, I'm funny. Derek didn't allow his anger to swell, but he stood sturdy in his posture, leaning forward in a way that kept Vincent still in the doorway. What do you want? We're neighbors. What? Yeah, I'm just one room over. Thought I'd come over and let you know. I guess I'm supposed to have cookies or something? Sorry. Okay. He tugged at his sweater. You alright? Are you serious? Wait, what? What's wrong with you? We got in a fight in class. With that, the sound of the door opening behind Vincent made conversation pause. With arms crossed, Vincent looked behind himself and then smiled back at Derek. Speak of the devil. What? Toby's a couple doors down on the other side. Looks like he's going for a piss. Oh my god, can you stop? Stop what? Being such an asshole. Acting all cocky and mature when really you don't give a shit about anyone. You're all nice to me outside, but how do I know you aren't talking shit about me behind my back? I don't even know Toby, and you're trying to shit on him in front of me. Trying to make me hate him or something? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Vincent's stare was nondescript, but soon fell into a mischievous frown. Look. He sighed, not from shame, but from misdirection. I don't really know Toby either, okay? I just say what's on my mind. I don't have anything against him, I just don't know him. And I don't really want to know him. I don't know. There's people I like and there's people I don't like. If that sounds judgmental, then whatever. But you were pretty quick to call me an asshole yourself, so maybe we aren't so different. Who invited the cheap BTS clone? Hi, Kate. How are you doing, honey? You seem like a cool guy, and Sophie seems to really like you. That's actually why I'm here, if you wanted to know. Derek knew that there was too much to unpack in Vincent's splurge, so he skipped to the point that interested him the most. Perpetually exhausted, so nothing new. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Would you like a slice of pepperoni pizza? What do you mean? Vincent raised a hand to his face and pressed his fingers between his furrowed eyebrows. A low sigh escaped him. Listen. Sophie wants to... She wants to go for a walk. Derek scrunched up his face in confusion. Yes, please drop it on the floor and drop another one for my pal Patches. God damn it, I will never live that down. Y'all are so mean to me. Patches can't have pizza. It's bad for her digestion. I will drop your piece of pizza on the floor, though. Here you go. There, it's on the floor. Eat up, you hungry little gremlin. You hungry little floor gremlin. Floor pizza is perfectly healthy for cats. I don't know about that, Kate. I don't know about that at all. Derek scrunched up his face in confusion. Is that supposed to mean something? No. She wants to go for a long walk. A little farther than we're allowed. Derek's eyes left Vincent and retreated into thought. And she wanted to invite you. So, see if you wanted to come. Well, he wasn't sure where to begin. It's against the rules, right? Yep. Has anyone else done it? Not sure. I mean, probably. What happens if we're caught? I'm not sure. We won't get caught, but I'm not sure. Look, if you don't want to come, it's fine. She gets it. Well, we get it. You're new and you want to look good. But we're going crazy here. We just want some fresh air. And we want to see what's out there. She leaned on the door frame behind Vincent. You know, get used to our surroundings. Derek's mouth curled into a smile and he forced it back down. But he forced it back down. Sophie looked to Derek and nodded towards him. Nice room. Does look pretty cozy. Derek, we're not trying to intimidate you or anything. Vincent and I hang out all the time. We talk to other people. We're just not really close to anyone else. And I've been thinking about what you said on the bus, about what happens if we leave campus. I'm not looking for trouble tonight. I'm not planning on getting caught. Just going stir crazy, I guess. So yeah, we're going on a walk tonight. It's happening, and I thought it would be a good way to get to know each other. You don't have to come. You know, someday I think I'm gonna have to actually make a pizza for Patches. I was actually looking it up the other day. There are recipes for cat pizza that you can make for your cats. So maybe I should do like a cooking stream where we make pizza for Patches. You think that'd be funny? You think people would like that? Make a little pizza for Patches? Maybe you'll even get to see her on camera. You don't have to come. Give us the content we want. Alright, nothing but cat streams from here on out. I hear you loud and clear. Derek looked around his room. Perhaps the heavy walls could have offered him an answer. They didn't. Yeah, whatever. Let's just go. Ha, sweet. Alright, well, we'll leave a little later. We can meet here in a couple of hours if that's cool. Yeah, sure. Are we good? What do you mean, are you good? What did you do? Whatever, I'm not gonna hold on to anything. Vincent, what did you do? With Sophie's voice growing angry, the conversation was interrupted by the loud latching of a door. Vincent turned and looked over his shoulder. Was it Toby? Yeah. Sophie, can we invite Toby? Oh my god, Derek. Holy shit. What? No. Derek's eyes shrank in confused anger. They sat on Sophie. Toby can't come. He can't know either. Look, we're breaking the rules in the smallest way possible. This isn't exactly a high-risk adventure, but I don't really know Toby, and I don't know what he'd have to say about it. Yeah. Derek scoffed at him. I'm just saying, she's right. Whatever, fine. Let's just meet here whenever you guys are ready. Sounds good. See you. The two left Derek's doorway and he could hear their muffled chatter echo through the concrete hallway. Quietly, Derek turned and sat in the chair. He felt so much like it. Tiny. Unimportant. He stared at the wall. It drew him closer with its comforting quiet. You can rest here. He was tired, but this new anxiousness kept him alert. Already breaking the rules. With the time left before the walk, Derek decided to search for some company. I'ma hang out with Sophie. Well, actually, hold on. I committed to Vincent the first time, and I kind of am torn between committing to Vincent all the way or branching out and see what Sophie says. Like, she hangs out with Vincent, but I feel like maybe he's way more into her than she is into him. I don't know. Okay, let's try Sophie. We'll see. Knock, knock. Just want to hang out before we go? Yeah, I guess so. What were you up to? I was just doing some homework. DuPont doesn't really assign much, so it's not bad. 1 second, I gotta save. DuPont doesn't really assign much, so it's not so bad. Nice. Sophie leaned against Derek's desk while he took a seat in his chair. So, what did you want to do? I don't know. I was just kind of bored. Fair enough. Well, I'm honored that I was chosen to de-boredom you. She took a moment to gather her conversation. So how's your laptop holding up? I think it's fine. It's still in the bag. Kind of useless without Wi-Fi, right? Pretty much. You could play solitaire or something. Do they even still come with that? They better. That was my jam when I was little. Oh, Sophie, you and me. Spider Solitaire. And also, like, the one space pinball game. Derek laughed. Really? Yeah, why? I don't know. I just can't really picture a 10-year-old you being into solitaire. Don't knock it till you try it. Whoa there, judgy. She smirked at him, her body somehow handling her awkward position with grace. So, how are you holding up? Anything I can do for you? I don't think so. Well, actually, in the pamphlet and all the paperwork, it said that we'd be given a phone. Oh, yeah. Everything here is privilege-based. Nothing's automatic. Just like taking bus rides. If they think you've earned it, then you'll get your phone. Oh. I don't think anyone hasn't been given their phone, so it's no big deal. Why? Who are you looking to call? Left the girlfriend back home? Nah. Parents? Ha! They probably love if they never heard from me again. That's probably not true. Derek looked up to Sophie with a confident stare that washed the room in brief silence. And what about you? What about your parents? What were they like? Oh, they were fine. That's it? I don't know. They were normal. Nothing to report, really. Okay. He got the feeling that she didn't want to talk about it. Sophie picked herself up and gestured to the wall opposite of them. Got a lot of blank space here. Derek swiveled around in his chair. What do you mean? She perked right up and approached the wall with open arms. Exactly. So many possibilities. Posters, drawings, a huge whiteboard calendar or some shit. You know, those stupid DIY sites. You could get all crafty and customize your wall. Just fill it with mason jars. Fill it with mason jars? Yeah, don't you know? If you want to be crafty, you have to use mason jars. Derek pushed out a breathy laugh. Rustic? Mason jars. Hipster? Mason jars. Chic? Mason jars. They're going to take over, I swear. The mason jar apocalypse. 2017. Mark it. On the whiteboard calendar. Oh my god, they're vibing! They're vibing! Look at the vibes! The two erupted into a fit of laughter. Derek buried his head in his hands with his mouth agape, letting out rounds of loud giggles. It took them some time to calm down, and once Sophie spoke, her voice was still high and stuttered over itself. Ha! You have a great laugh. Derek wiped his eyes. Oh, so many people have told me that. It's infectious. She turned back towards the wall as if to thank it for a moment, and then made her way back to the desk, falling right into her casual lean. So yeah, get right on that. We can actually decorate the walls? Sticky tack or masking tape only, but yes. Alright, I'll think about it. Sophie let out a small sigh. Thanks for asking me to come. I needed a laugh. Yeah, for sure. You still good for later? Yeah. If you knock and I don't answer, just knock louder. I haven't slept in a while, so... You're kicking me out? No, I just meant in case. I'm kidding! I should head back up and finish some stuff anyways. I'll see you later. Yeah. I'll grab Vincent when we're ready and meet you here. Sounds good. See you later, Derek. Peace. Mason jars and dog poop? What? That was the name of the achievement I got. It was cold, and the overall tension added to the heavy chills that racked Derek's body. He squeezed himself to calm his muscles. Well, looks like the coast is clear. There was never anything to worry about. Oh, except DuPont seeing us and getting us in shit. Then we get expelled for breaking the contract we set to Elsewhere. And we get sent to Elsewhere High, a school for such exceptional children that they can't even follow a few simple rules. Right, except for that. She turned to Derek. Thanks for coming. Yeah, for sure. Ready to head out? Sure. She smiled, breathed a deep breath, and took an urgent stride away from the school. Oh, we're in tractor country, and there's the spooky music. With her hands buried in her cardigan, Sophie did a joyful skip, and her feet skidded loudly against the asphalt. A sweet high laugh escaped her. Wow. Whew. Oh yeah, this feels nice. Vincent stayed a few paces behind her, walking in tandem with Derek. He nudged Derek's side with his elbow. How could I not fall for a girl like that? Derek smiled at him, and then looked to Sophie. Well, I feel like I'm not going to get anything if I go the middle ground, but we'll flip back and forth. She is pretty cool. And really, really pretty. There you go. Talking some sense now. Would she be your first girlfriend? Nah. Well, I don't know. I dated other girls before. Nothing was really serious. This one chick, though. This one chick thought it was and came to my place while I was gone one day and introduced herself to my parents. Talked about her intentions or some shit. That was like freshman year, I guess. Jesus, that was it that long ago? Pat the cat? I have to go find the cat. Alright. Let me go find the cat. I gotta go find the cat. Oh, shit. I'll save anyways. Alright. 1 second. I gotta go get the cat. Would you like to say something to your adoring fans? Yeah? Yeah? Anything else? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you. Ugh, she was just sitting there waiting for me to pick her up. And then she was not happy about it. Jesus, was it that long ago? So how'd you find out? Oh, hon, why did that pretty young girl named Claire show up today expressing her interest in marrying our son? Derek let out a loud chuckle. I have no idea, Mom. Perhaps the question we should be asking is if a 14-year-old pining after a boy for marriage can be diagnosed as clinical insanity. Should I call her parents? No, Vincent. Calling your girlfriend's parents diagnosing her with some sort of psychopathy is almost as weird as her asking us what sort of dress fits her body type. She did not. Vincent laughed loudly, falling out of his impression back to his natural voice. Probably not, but that's how I picture it. Fair enough. So what happened? With Claire? Oh, jeez, I don't know. We were 14. I stopped texting her and took a different route to third period science to avoid her, probably. That wasn't that long ago, you know. Feels like forever. He took a moment to think. But you know what? No, it actually is a long time. 3 years is a very long time. People say waiting an hour to get on a roller coaster is a long time. A 3-hour movie is so long. So how can people look at years and years of their life and say, oh, it wasn't that long ago? Yes, it was. It was years ago. So I guess it pisses you off when people say life is short. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I not give you the attention you require? My God, you're blinding. You're like directly in the sun and you're blinding me. Hi. Oh, hi. How's it going? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't introduce you to the audience. I introduced your sister. You forgive me? My God, back in the sun. I love you too. You want me to bring your food bowl down? Yeah? Is this what you wanted? Are you too lazy to climb up your tree today? What is it? What you want? What do you want? You want me to throw the kick stick? You want me to throw the kick stick? Is this what you want? Is this what you want? Are you not entertained? Jasmine. Whoop. Yeah, that's that good crack. That's that good shit. The cocaine, baby. Okay. You don't want to get high right now. That's fair. I wouldn't want to get high on stream either. My God, though, she is so blinding. She's pure white, and she's just standing in the sunlight, and she looks like a freaking flare. It's literally the longest thing that anyone ever does. This is true. That is my desk. Please stop. Living life is literally the longest thing any of us ever do. He dug his hand into his pockets and smiled towards the open road. Their conversation bled into the cool, light air, and they let out noises of the night. and they let the noises of the night become their dialogue. The silence settled and their steps became synchronized. The three of them walked side by side, nearly filling the entire width of the street. Let's hope for no cars. Seriously. Huh. If it's anything like my car back home, we'll hear it a mile away. You had a car? Oh, trust me, you can barely call it that. Hunk of metal. Hunk of foil? Looks like the thing is going to collapse at any second. Still, it's better than nothing. Oh, yes? What's up? Do you want the window open? Do you want the window open? Okay, 1 second. Okay, I hear you. Hold on. You want to watch the birds? Do you want to watch the birds? Yeah, there you go. Oh my god. Jasmine, you're not making this easy. Alright, hold on. There you go. You can watch the birds and let all the hot air into my office. Still, it's better than nothing. I didn't even have my license. Yeah, me neither. Seriously? What did you guys even do with your time? Not get our license? Ha, apparently. I went it and got it the day that I could. I was always nervous driving. It just didn't make sense to me how any of that could be safe. Well, it's not, really. You could die super easy. Sometimes people who are driving just die. Yeah, like nothing even happens to them. They just die at the wheel. Sudden automotive death syndrome. Wait, what? Like sudden infant death syndrome, but automotive? Automotive. No. Really? Never heard of it. I hate you both. The boys laughed and Derek could see that Sophie was holding back her own. He nudged her with his elbow and she swatted him away playfully. Stop it. Oh, you don't like that? He nudged her again and her crossed arms exposed her side, allowing a perfect landing. Oh my god! Huh. What are you, ticklish? So what if I am? Nothing. Would just be good to know. With that, he swung his body behind her and his fingers moved quickly up and down her sides. Oh my god, stop. He laughed and she arched her body away from his and let out a high squeal. Derek, stop! Her voice was low and commanding. Derek's heart dropped and his muscles seized in hurried obedience. Did I hurt you? She folded her cardigan over herself. What? No, I just don't like to be touched. Oh, I'm... Losing the moment of fun and carelessness made him panicked and awkward. Sorry. He let it slip out as almost a question. What? It's fine. Don't take it so seriously, it just freaked me out. The weightlessness returned to her voice and she almost smiled again. So... She looked to Derek slyly, then caught Vincent in her peripherals. What's up, Vincent? You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, Derek's over here about to steal Vincent's not girl. She let his answer sit for a moment and then physically shrugged it off. Alright, well, I was going to say, how about around 20 questions? Oh god. What? This is supposed to be a bonding exercise, right? Yeah, I guess, but we must be off campus now. Derek and Sophie slowed their pace and gave Vincent their attention. I mean, we can barely see the school. The three of them looked back down the isolated road and squinted to make out the shape of the school. Sophie spoke up in a voice that was an obvious attempt to lighten the mood. Well, this marks us getting in total shit if we get caught. Derek smirked at her. They walked in silence for some time, although Derek's thoughts were loud. He thought about his mother, about her distance and apathy towards his transfer. She hardly even said goodbye. The hollow thud of the passenger door closing as she dropped him off a mile from the bus stop reverberated in his mind. This road looks so similar. You're not getting up on my desk. No, you're not. No, you're not. I have my stuff up here. My pizza. You're not getting in my pizza. You've covered everything else in my life in cat hair. You're not covering my food. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Oh, you have such a cute fat face. You have such a fat face. This road looks so similar. Wait. The two others stopped at his command. He cocked his head and raised his arm, listening to the sound the others couldn't yet hear. And we'll stop there for just a moment. Before we really get into the shit, we're at the 2-hour mark, which means that we get a break, because we're doing a marathon. I have yet to eat. We're going to watch some cooking videos, and then we're going to get back to this. So let me just mute elsewhere. What if you have to put Sin down? Why would I ever need to put Sin down? Sin's good. Sin's very good. I would never need to put Sin down. Sin would never give me a reason to have to put him down. You got the rabies. God damn it, Sin. What the fuck did I just say? I said I wasn't gonna have to put you down, and now here you go getting rabies? What the fuck? Oh god, I'm not. Where is the gunshot? The gunshot sound effect when I need it. I should have stolen that from uni when I had the chance. The armadillos look cute with the foamy mouth. Honey, that's syphilis. They got the syphilis. And also the you're right, it's the leprosy. It is the leprosy. Not the syphilis. Man, wouldn't that suck? Wouldn't that absolutely fucking suck if you not only had the syphilis, but also the leprosy? You're kind of boned, aren't you? You're kind of just fucked. Alright, let's get back into it, baby. I need to... Where is my stuff? There we go. I'm gonna sneeze again. I just know it. I'm gonna sneeze again. I don't want to, but... Fucking allergies. Ah! Hurts. According to Google, leprosy and rabies are curable when caught and treated early, so catch me if you can, clown copper. I mean, I will. I'm taking you to the fucking hospital, you little bitch. You're going to get treated. The two others stopped at his command. He cocked his head and raised his arm, listening to a sound that the others couldn't yet hear. Do you hear that? What? And then it became louder. At the shoulder of the road, there was an audible rustling sound. A raccoon, maybe? Uni? You're in the game? You didn't tell me that. Some say if she sneezes, you can hear the sounds of Kerberos. I mean, I do have a really loud sneeze. Sophie's innocent appraisal did little to convince the guys, or even herself. The three of them stood still, waiting. I'm in every game. I believe that. And then it came. Oh shit, boys! We hit the horror part! From the edge of the ditch rose a man, or perhaps it wasn't a man at all. It picked itself up on the tips of whittled arms, toothpick stilts that were somehow made of callous flesh and bone. Oh shit, the music's kicking in. Oh no, we're in trouble! Sin over here acting like they want to die in agony. Yeah, Sin's just real dramatic. Sin's literally that one Vine or TikTok of the person who's like, I wish I'd been born in the, what was it? The industrial age as an orphan to die of black lung. I want that kind of drama. On its face sat bulbous rolls of skin that bulged out like lava. These tight bubbles spilled over its eye sockets and lifted its mouth upwards and out. Oh, like a goblin shark? That'd be kind of fucking cool. The mouth was so swollen that its tongue hung from it as if it were dead. The video that Quithon posted of the eagle losing its shit when water touched its foot. Oh no. I know it said whittled, but I read it and I picked up on the tips of it as, it's whittle arms. Oh, its whittle arms are so cute. It was just a whittle guy. It was just a whittle guy. And then he like eats our faces. Like a pendulum, its halved torso swung in between its skewer arms. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Sophie let out an instinctual breath of air, but said nothing. Vincent stood frozen in place. Bitches, we gotta go! The creature twitched and let out a howl. Run! Oh, fucking God. Who's texting me now? Can't you see I'm about to run for my life? It's the mowers. They're like, excuse me, ma'am. We haven't interrupted your stream enough. We're gonna come back and mow the other lawn on the other side of the house. If we leave now, the monster won't get its opportunity for a horror Emmy. It will never live its movie dreams. What are its movie dreams exactly? Eating children on the side of the road? Run! At the first sight of pursuit, the three of them unlatched their muscles from the fear that paralyzed them and ran. Excuse me, ma'am, you were interrupting our mowing stream? Oh, great. Am I in beef? Do I have beef with the mowers now? They're playing lawn mowing simulator. Derek pushed himself forward, and the weight of the wind that fought against him rolled his sweater off his shoulders and forced it back, draping it down in the crooks of his elbow. Sophie and Vincent said nothing, just hurried noises of desperate fear bounced from their chests with each stride. They could hear the panting from the man behind them, and the hollow crackle of his stilted arms beating against the asphalt. Derek craned his neck and quickly looked behind him to see that the creature stood in place, beating the road with the nubs of its arms, a frightening war cry. You better run. It stopped. The three slowed and turned to look back behind them. They had made considerable distance, and the creature was now nothing more than a small figure swallowed in the shadow. Its body twitched and bristled and made its way back into the grassy shoulder of the road. Interesting. Derek looked to Sophie and Vincent. Their faces were flush and their eyes shook in their sockets fiercely. He could see no fear on their faces, however, just desperation and shock. What the hell was that? They said nothing. Derek swiveled his body around, checking his surroundings, his knees bent and ready. Guys! He turned to them for guidance and respite, but he was met with hollow shells that let out a quick, sharp breath. Derek could feel the stinging of tears in the corner of his eyes. Oh my God. He took a few swift steps backwards and then turned himself back towards the school, quickly revving up for a full sprint. Come on! Of course the words were meant for Sophie and Vincent, but he pushed them out as if they were to motivate himself. Come on. Faster. Looking back, Derek could see Vincent reach out to Sophie and pull her away from the bushes, leading her into a sprint back towards the school. Derek's forehead was frozen from the wind's chill beating down on it, and the thick layer of perspiration that had formed. His cheeks burnt loudly and angrily. Get me out of here. His vision blurred, his senses stopped. There is something on my monitor that is going to drive me nuts. His hands fumbled aimlessly and found a resting place on the hard walls. He dropped to his knees and crawled forward, his gliding hands offering him some sense of guidance. Place your bets now on what the monster is. I am personally torn between horrific government experiment and or some douchebag in a costume, lurking in the woods, making sure that the kids can't leave. Sit down. Rolling his body backwards, Derek lobbed himself against the wall and tried his best to find some normalcy in his breath. Slow down. In, out. Amidst the grayness of the hallways, he did notice an open door. Is that mine? No. He could see the shadow of someone kneeling. His chest throbbed over his wailing heart. It thrashed inside him, trying to shake free from its cage. Get me out of here. Derek yelped over his overwhelming anxiety. It nearly overtook him. Toby! That motherfucker! Derek? Derek gasped and gripped his chest. He tried to stutter out words, but nothing came. What's wrong? Are you okay? Derek looked at him desperately. Do you want to go to your room? Derek nodded quickly. Okay. Toby knelt down to grab Derek's hand, hoisting him to his feet. Your hand is shaking. He led him to his door and they entered Derek's room together. Toby walked him to his bed and sat him down, then sat down next to him nervously. Sorry, I'm not sure what to say. Derek shook his head, excusing Toby's lack of confidence. His breath still came out in heavy gales. Is it because of your first day? I had a hard time too. I think I cried a lot. Derek drove his eyes shut as tight as he could and then opened them quickly. He motioned with his hands, beckoning Toby to speak. Just tell me something. What were you doing? I kinda saw you in your room? His words were slow and came out laced with his deep breaths. Oh. He could see Toby retreat into himself. I was just praying. Toby laughed nervously. Once again, Derek closed his eyes and nodded. The rise and fall of his chest gradually slowed. Okay. About what? Derek raised his hand and placed it on Toby's shoulder, his eyes still shut. Sorry, it's fine. You don't have to tell me. No, just for my sister. Your sister? His eyes opened and he tried to focus on Toby. Yeah, just some stuff going on with her. Derek nodded in response. Derek, you look really scared. I'm fine. Toby played with his fingers awkwardly. He dropped his head down and spoke lowly. Derek? Yeah? He paused and pushed out a sarcastic laugh. And then another one. What's wrong? They both raised their gaze and found knowing looks in each other's eyes. Nervous, scared, knowing looks. He looked away. I don't know. Sometimes I feel weird here. What do you mean weird? Like I'm being watched or something. Watched? They both retreated back onto his bed, their eyes sitting on the blank wall opposite of them. Toby's words became more rushed. Just ever since I got here, I feel something weird. Like something is always behind me. His voice fell into a whisper as he tried to mask the fear and sadness that crept its way into his voice. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Nothing seems right. There's something wrong going on here. Finally, he gave in and let out a heavy breath, and a tear pushed its way out of his eye and hit the fabric of his pants. He gripped his hands tightly. Place your bets also. Kiss, 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 kiss. God damn it, Sin. Also, what do you think? What got Toby put here? What do you think put Toby here? Like, obviously Derek, his name. I was gonna say like tax evasion or something, tax fraud. But serious answer, I kind of wonder if his parents put him here. He seems to be, well, not horribly, like, zealously religious, but I wonder if maybe he comes from a family that is, and maybe they thought, okay, he's not quite living up to our expectations. Like, maybe they suspect something, and so they put him here. Or maybe he was just getting bullied at school, and, like, he couldn't build his confidence. All I can think of when I hear the name Derek is that one Gmod Idiot Box episode. Derek looked up to him, but Toby's head remained low and guarded. Where are we? Good question. Oh, we finished chapter 1. Shit. I didn't realize there was so little left. Chapter 1. End. Hell yeah. Background art by K. Rungrat. Hey! Southeastern Proba. Thank you so much for the follow. I don't know why the sound effect didn't go off for that. Written and created by... I missed the name. That was really great. I liked that a lot. Hey, I want to... Oh, god damn it. Be gone, bot. Get the fuck out of here. No. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. I liked that. I liked that a lot. Oh, thank you for the pats. I appreciate that in this trying time. I liked that a lot. I was not expecting it to be that short. But that's okay. That is a-okay. Am I just stuck with the blank screen now? Are we going back to the, Hello? 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 Return to screen.